Hi, my name is Jonathan Hopp, and this is 10 Minute Go. I hope you've been having fun so far. Also, hope you've been playing games. All right, so the point of Go is to get out there and basically have fun. Right, this is a board game. You need to be out there with people if you want to try to improve. You can play online. I recommend playing in real life with real people because the people are the fun part of the game. But if you don't, if you're in a place where that's not really an option, online is a good option that you can have. All right, I'll go over in another video what sorts of things you need to look out for when playing Go online and what options you have in case you're not really familiar with that. Today we're going to talk about nets, and since this is a 10-minute Go, you have 10 minutes to explain it, so the time begins now. All right, so today we're going to talk about nets and ladders. All right, so ladders we talked about last time. All right, so the ladder, let me get to that part. The ladder looks like this basically. All right, so we have a white stone here. And if white wants to escape, he can't. Okay, so there's one thing you have to kind of accept and go. There's no randomness. All right, that is the biggest thing that people, for beginners, have to kind of get to grips with. This is not like Parcheesi. It's not like any sort of dice game. If you play a move, there's a logical sequence of events that happens after it, and then it could result in your stone being captured, and there's nothing you can do about it. So white here, if white tries to escape, he can't. White cannot escape. There is nothing. There is nothing. Don't even worry about these other points around here. It means nothing. Black will Atari. Say we have one liberty left, so white extends. Black Ataris. And do you see how this keeps going? Atari again. Atari. 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 Now we come to the very end. There was nothing either player could do. White, if white did not play where he played at any one of these points, he would be captured. So, this is a one-way street. So when white comes here, dead. Okay, they're all dead. There's nothing you can do. So basically, if we think about that, this entire sequence is inevitable. Now, some people have asked me before, can you play something different? You can play this. It amounts to exactly the same thing. There's no difference. Because if white plays here, then you play here, and then white's captured. You can play here as well. It all equals the same thing. It doesn't matter which one you do. They have the results exactly the same. Now, since this all is a pretty much one-way street, that means when this white stone is dead. Okay, barring any help from the outside, this white stone is dead and there's nothing white can do about it. Just give up on it and move on. However, there are some times when your stone isn't dead, all right? So don't just memorize the shape. You got to be able to read, all right? Reading is visualizing these moves in your head before you put them on the board to plan out what you're going to do. That's what I mean when I say read. To read out things. So here, it's not so clear whether or not white cannot escape. So for example, think about it this way. If someone's chasing you down, right, and you are running up against the wall, then you might not be able to escape. If you have a friend there to help you, you might be able to get away. Let's see what happens if white tries to run away. In fact, I'm going to let you think about it pause the video and think about it. What happens if white tries to run away? All right, well, let's try it out. White runs, black Ataris. White runs again, we have two liberties, black Ataris. We have one liberty left, so we must run away. Black Ataris. White extends, black Ataris. Now instead of having two liberties, white has three. 1, 2, 3. Right, white has three liberties, and that means that black cannot Atari white at all. Black only gets one stone. He only can take away one liberty from white in one move. So let's say he tries to do that. White is not in Atari, all right? So white is not in any danger. And look at this. Black's moves are all diagonal from one another. These moves are all diagonal. These moves are all diagonal. So that means that they're not directly connected with one another, which means that they're weak. So I'm going to Atari. In fact, that means that this stone here has one liberty, and this stone here has one liberty. That means that both of these stones are in Atari. Remember, in Go, you only get one move. So that means if black saves one, white captures the other. It's a two-way street. If black saves one, white captures the other. And look what happens. Double Atari. Now, it looks like black was chasing white down, but now it looks like black is being pulverized. Black is being ripped apart because of all the different weaknesses that he had when he tried to attack white. So basically, it's very, very important that we know the ladder. Okay, so let me go back a second. You'll hear a term in Go. This move right here, actually we'll mark it with the letter A, is called a ladder breaker. Okay, it breaks the ladder. Okay, it makes it so white can escape. So when you look at the ladder, when we come here, white needs to think to himself, I gotta imagine, if I run out, black will Atari, if I run out, black will Atari, and make this kind of zigzag line all the way up. And if it hits this stone, then you've got a ladder breaker. So just because your opponent says, aha, I put you in a ladder, that does not mean that you've actually been captured just yet. So don't worry about it. You have to actually be able to read out the ladder. If your opponent does not read out the ladder correctly, and we get here, then it looks like he's going to be in a lot of trouble because he has all of these weaknesses. Look at all these weaknesses, all of these points where his stones can be separated. Not looking good. All right, so that's the ladder. Let's talk about more about how you can capture your opponent's stones and what's called a net. All right, so here we've got a white stone. I'm going to put this stone over here, and we've got to be able to capture this stone. Now, let's say that there is a ladder breaker. Okay, let's say that there's a stone here and it's a ladder breaker, right? If I try to ladder the stone, it's not going to be able to run, I won't be able to capture it, all right? I'll be able to run away. Atari, Atari, see how they connect? Yep, see I was able to run away. I want to capture E5, and I can capture E5, but I can't do it with the ladder, so you have to do it with the net. The net looks like this. Okay, you're kind of like covering over the stone, blocking off its paths. Now let's say white tries to escape. Come out, Atari, right? White only has one liberty here. That's it. He doesn't get any more. So since it's black's turn, sayonara. That means that when we play this, white's dead. All right, this is net. So I can't capture you with a ladder, but I can capture you with a net. So it's very important to kind of learn these kind of shapes when you play them in your games. You don't want to let your opponent just get away for like no reason. You want to be able to capture them when you can capture them. So I'll play that again. Come out, block. There's no escape this way, and white is an Atari. White is still an Atari. Captured. Okay, so nets are really kind of a cool thing you can think about in your games. Now, there's all sorts of other shapes you can look. Nets can be a little bit bigger. All right, so let me get to that point. Let me find that real quick. Nets can be a little bit bigger than what I've shown you. All right, so let's say this, for example. Not that one, this one. All right, let's say I'm black and I want to capture white. Well, if I try it this way, then white's going to eventually get liberties, all right? And I'm just saying that eventually my might get captured, might be not. There's a cleaner way of doing it. If you play this, then there's no way white can get out. Let's do it, and this is a little bit harder though, so I'll let you try to think of the variations on your own if you pause the video. I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. Alright, let's try to get out. If white pushes here, black will block. Now, white only has two liberties, so it's extremely weak. If white tries this move, or this move, they basically end up being the same. Bam. White's dead. Ladder. Dead. The other way is exactly the same thing. White only has one liberty left, and there's no way to get two extra liberties in one move, so he's basically dead. So that way doesn't work. What if we try jumping, right? We jump out. Black will walk through these two stones, all right? Now, there's no way they can directly connect because there's a stone directly in their way. White will come up, black will Atari, white extends, death, all right? It doesn't work. What about the other jump, all right? Nope, still fails. Black comes out, see? Well, only one liberty left. We've got to make it so white cannot get two extra liberties in the move. So literally, there is nothing white can do. There's no set of moves that white has in order to get out of here. So this captures the two white stones cleanly. Now, that does mean, however, you can threaten to connect out. So there are moves like this where you could say, hey, I think these two moves are important. These stones are already dead, so I'll give them to you. But that's a higher level tactic. If you want to try it, give it a try in your own games. Alright, so these are sort of nets. I'm going to look at one more way of capturing your opponent's stones. Alright, this one's cool. It's called a crane's nest. Alright, pause the video, see if you can figure out how do you capture these three black stones here. The answer is here. Now, it looks really funny, right? I put a stone down, it only has two liberties. If black Ataris, white's next move is not to play this. If white Ataris this way, now black has 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties, and there's no way to reduce 3 liberties in one move. So that's not the move, right? This isn't the move either because black still can connect and get out. The move that you have to do here is play here. Okay? White Ataris, black takes, white Ataris, connect, everything's dead. I'll play that one more time. White Atari's here. This is Atari. If black plays anything else, white kills all the black stones. So there's only one move here. This move, Atari's the stones again. There's only one Liberty. And even if you connect, you're still dead. Alright, well these are all really good shapes I think you should know in your games. Do not let your opponent get away with stones that should be captured. Use nets, use ladders to capture your opponent's stones, and try them out in your own games. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture, and I'll see you next time.